As you can remember from last session, we talked about the framework and why we need these 5 levels in order to overcome our needs, and understanding the reason that's why we need these 5 levels for analyzing any kinds of organization and any kinds of, not just organization. Try to make a good decision with the standards that we already know or we're going to know. So this is the matter of using these levels. The first item, as you can see, is the system level. I'm going to just refer back to the previous knowledge that we have. We've got a complex system, right? So in the complex system, there are plenty of items that are going to be very different from some parts. Some of them are totally different and seems like irrelevant to the thing that we are going to discuss. But in some cases, they're going to connect each other in somehow that at the first spot we don't know anything about. So first of all, we need to know that we're going to analyze a system very complex. So we need to have the system looking of the area and all the varieties, all the different factors that are going to be included in our system. So system is the environment and place that you're going to decide what to do. I'm going to make some examples, so don't worry about it. But the first layer is the system of very different things, but a single goal that you want to achieve. So this is the system. We need to know the system, and we have to get the whole system thinking. So this is one of the first thing that I told you was the whole system thinking and why we need the whole system thinking. So at the first level, when you're going to describe anything at all, you need to know your system, the different things that are going to affect on your decision. Okay? Do we have any problems on the system and what is system, why we need to know the system and things like that?
Why is unclear, because system is...
It's not unclear. This is the thing.
Why we need the system is...
Why you need to know the system? Yeah, we're going to invent some machine who takes us from home to here, and it's very useful. We're going to drive very easily, and you just go to the gas station and pump some fuel in, and then just, drive to your place. So it's very good invention and very good thinking and lots of things. But if you've got the system thinking, there are some other concerns that you need to take care of. First of all, to the print, I'm going to tell you in the strategic level, but just trying to answer your question. First of all, we need to use the fossil fuel. So that's the violation of the principle 1. What is principle 1? You need to know. Okay, so first of all, we've got that kind of violation. After that, we need roads. So we need to clear cut some forest or something like that to just make big highways between your place and the others. So these kinds of items needs to be done for that thing. So it's a very good thing and it's a very good invention. But how if when you want to invent something, you just consider the whole system? What is the consequences of the things that you're going to have? Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm not telling you that invention was a crap. All of us are using it. But in the system thinking, you need to think that you're going to make this device, what kind of things are affected? I'm not just talking about the nature. Your system is the place that you're going to build your manufacturing facilities. Like, for example, you prefer to build your factory in Nigeria, or I don't know, some countries in Middle East, in China, or in Africa, in some kind of places that you don't need to pay too much for, your human resources, for your workers, for your engineers, for everything. Why? Because they are poor, and you can, in your way of thinking, you can use them. But it's not that good. You can't find these kinds of companies in Europe or, I don't know, in these kind of rich countries, because the expenses are very high, so they need a big salary. You can't use the child labor and something like that. So you just prefer to ignore all these things and just move your system to somewhere very far from the media or something like that. Or, like your waste, you're going to make a factory. So if you don't care about your environment, you can just send your waste anywhere that you want, like just put it in the river or something, because nobody cares. So for any kind of system, for any kind of decision making, any kind of planning, the first step is the system. You need to know the different factors in the system, like the child labor, the cost of human resources is something, the natural things that you're going to use in your factory is something else, and so the point is there are lots of different things that you need to consider. That's it. None of them are mysterious for us. Of course we are dealing in the system. We are living in the system. We are part of the system. So it's not that weird for us that why we're going to describe system. The point is just consider all the things that are going to affect on your facility in future, in the present, near future, and also far future. Okay, so that's the reason that you just need to know everything about your system. That's the point. It's not a very big question mark, but lots of people who are making decisions, I'm just going to, I don't know, have a party outside, so let's make a fire. So if you consider your system, you are in jungle, so it's going to be very dangerous to make a fire, so you need to take care about the safety things. It's going to cost you, so you just think, okay, it's nobody's around, so we can do anything that we want. But it's not actually correct, right? So that's just consider the system. It's not that big deal. The second part is the success level. As you can see, the goal you want to achieve. So you need to specify and be specific about the goal and what you need in the goal, and I don't know, the things around your goal. And here we're talking about the principles, right? So you have to consider them. After that, we've got the strategic level. Here we are talking about the backcasting and why we need to, you know the success. What is success? Success is your goal that you're going to achieve. Okay, just picture your goal, the thing that you're going to achieve. Anything, it could be anything. Just picture that. Then after that, the strategic level, you need to plan for reaching your goal. You know your system. You know what you want in the success level. Now in the strategic level, you need to do some kind of process to making the decision, for planning for it, and something like that. And then here we're talking about the backcasting that I'm going to talk more about, that I already talked about, we're going to discuss more. So this is the action level. And this is the strategic level, sorry. And after that we've got the action level. So this is the thing that you need to do. This is really the action level. You need to make something, do something, and after that there are some tools for you to use in order to, we're using the tools to just do the actions. And after that, with those kinds of plans, we're going to reach the success. So that's the thing. There are two ways of thinking about these 5 levels. One of them is the 5-level framework. You need to know your system. You need to consider your success and things like that. But the point is, any goal you want to achieve is mentioned in the success layer, in the just like 5 levels framework. Any kind of things could be mentioned. But when we're talking about FSSD, the Framework for Strategic Sustainable Development, for the second phase, for the success, we need to consider our principles. What principles? The ones that I told you. So, when you're going to picture your success, you want to invent a car, right? There is no car. You want to just think about some innovation, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, when you're going to, I don't know, make something, build something, invent something, you need to consider these 4 principles that we talked about. Is there any kind of violation of the principle 1? What is the principle 1?
What is the principal one?
Everything that extracts from there.
Substances extracted from. Okay, so we're talking about
By air.
Yeah. So the first one is that we need to consider the first principle, the substances extracted by, from the earth crust. As she said, taking it from lithosphere through our biosphere. The second one is the substances produced by society. We need to know, do we have any kinds of violation of the principle 2 in our goal or no? Do we have any respect or any violations? We need to know. We need to make them as less as possible. Yes, the goal is inventing car using the, we just need to move it somehow. It needs to be operational somehow. But if you use the fossil fuels, you're going to violate the first principle. If you burn these kinds of fossil fuels, you're going to do another violation for the principle number 2, because there are some gases produced by your machine, and it's going to affect it on our biosphere. We're going to face with the global warming. Why? Because the industrial revolution that we had before, it wasn't sustainable. It was perfect. Lots of things might have invented now. We've got very, very, very easy life comparing with like 200 years ago. But the point is, it wasn't sustainable. Okay?
Yeah.
We need to put the glasses of we need to consider these principles. The third one, degradation by physical means. Did you violate or did you respect these principles? And after that, the society. Okay?
Yeah.
So, what is the difference in here? This 5 level is any goal you want to achieve, but for FSSD, at the success level, we need to consider these principles. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Crystal clear. There shouldn't be any kinds of, question marks in your head now that why we need, why there are two different things. So we know now why it's a very big difference. The approach is the same. You need to have a go. The approach is the same. But when you consider these kinds of sustainable principles, you can't do anything in your action level. You can't use anything as your tools.
So it depends on ourselves. For example, when we think about
Definitely nothing is dependent on you. You're just part of society.
For me. For example, whenever I ask 5 levels framework, or for example, I want to buy a car. Yeah. I want to use of the 5 levels framework or focus on FSSD.
You're going to buy the car. First of all, your system is, I've got some salary, so I need to pay like 1,000 crowns each month, not
Only
more than that. Wait,
levels?
I'm just making, you said that you need to buy the car.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to put it in the 5 levels framework, okay?
Yeah.
So your system is your budget, first of all. There's a limitation in your budget, like 10,000 crowns you can pay $10,000 each month or 2. So it's going to be different. So in your system, there are your budget. In your system, the reason that you need to buy, if your house is close to your work, why you need the car? So there are different factors in the system. You need to be just, some far from the work, then needs to be like, for example, the crab transporting system that forced you to buy the car and things like that. And the success level, you need to think that if I buy the car, is there any violations to the first principle? Yes. Because your car is based on the fossil fuels. You're not going to, just wait. Yeah, that's the question. Any substances that you're going to produce? Yes, you're going to burn these kinds of fossil fuels. So yes, it's another violation too. And then physical and then social things. So I'm not going to even think about it. Okay? Yeah, you need to consider, but I'm just trying to make it fast. And then after that you've got a strategy. Okay, fine. I'm going to buy a hybrid car. I'm going to buy electrical car. and it's going to cost me it's going to be very expensive. So at the strategic level, you need to just go to the backcasting process. What is your goal?
Plan.
Awareness, you need to be awareness. Then the baseline, then you need to do some action, prioritize them, and reach your goal. So that's the, what did I say? Yes, I just mix it with the backcasting. So at the strategic level, according to the backcasting techniques, you just have some strategy how to reach your goal for buying the car, and here is your actions. Okay, you just said that you know that you're going to buy the car, okay, and then come back now, just see around you what is your situation now. Your next step is working too much. Like you can't afford buying electrical car now because you don't have a good salary. Okay, you need to do some motivation or something to have good, better salary or something like that. So this is your first action, second action, third action, and there are some tools that you're going to use, like I don't know, something. Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm just telling you that the 5-level framework is the fixed thing, is the fixed procedure. It's not related to this sustainable environment, I can say. But when you put it in the FSSP and look it through the glass of sustainable development, what is sustainable development? I'm just repeating again. Achieving your need without compromising the next generation's will. Okay, so this is the... So in the FSSP, framework for sustainable strategic development, there are some items that you need to know and you need to consider. How do we make sure that we are selecting best action to achieve the goal? First of all, you need to use the backcasting for your principal approach. Do you know the meaning of backcasting? It means that just clear your mind. You don't need to consider about anything. Just you need to know something in the future. Be creative. Anything you want. You want to go to the Mars. It's fine for us. So we're not limited to our resources now. It can be anything. Okay. After that, after the vision that you've got, you need to come back for the second. You need to come back and do the thing. I'm not going to tell you about the ABCD model because it's already I did. But, the backcasting is just have your vision. It could be anything. Come here now and try to plan it somehow. Okay? So first of all, we're using backcasting. Okay?
Yeah.
And after that, there are 3 items that we need to know. Is this action going to bring me closer to the goal? So there are some actions that you're going to do in your SSD module, right? Are they going to help you reach the goal or no? You need to have the answer. You need to know the answer. You need to answer that question, okay? The second one, is this measure going to provide a sufficient ROI, return of investment? You're going to do something. You're going to kill yourself to buy that car. You need to invest lots of, invest is not just financial, it's going to be like social, intelligence, political, and lots of things, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to return, are you going to be satisfied with the thing that you're going to return? Is it feasible, we can say, like if you pay 200 for a bus ticket, is it feasible? You just, for 15 minutes walking, I don't need to pay 200. It's not a good return of investment. I shouldn't invest my budget on the bus ticket. If I walk, I can go to a better restaurant there. So it's not, that sample was the thing that we always challenging with these kinds of things. So in return of investment is very major item. So you need to know that is it a good deal or no. This the third item is it a flexible platform or not. If you did something that wasn't right, if for any kind of limitation you need to change the way. For example, suddenly in the cooking process you just realize that your washing machine is not working. Can you still achieve your goal to serving like food to 10 people With the broken washing machine, it could happen. I don't know, your oven just suddenly stopped working. I don't know, something. So you need to know that. Is it a flexible system? You can't say that. 2 items are very important for me. I have to get the electricity and I have to go to the shopping. So these 2 are essential in your scenario. Just consider that. But yeah, if something broken, I can do something. I can just put the things forward or just postpone, delay some of them to just achieve my goal. Okay? So, an example is just like it's 5:15 now and the store is going to be closed at 7 o'clock here at BTH. There's a buffet in the so in the centrum. It's a buffet restaurant and it will cost you 80 crowns. And after that you're very hungry, you think about going to that buffet restaurant all the week and you've got 80 crowns in your pocket. You need to plan for that. What would a strategic way to get to the buffet restaurant? So you need to answer these questions. For example, you said that I'm going with the bus. I'm going to spend like 20 crowns of my money to that thing. Okay, let's answer this question. Is it the action going to bring you closer to the goal if you spend your money for the bus ticket? You just lose 20 crowns, then you're going to go there with 60 crowns, and if then you get there, so you don't have the sufficient money. Is it going to provide you sufficient return of investment? No, definitely not. Okay?
Return.
Return of investment, anything. And is it going to be the flexible way? If you just do it, can you do some changes in your platform? Or the next thing is, yeah, I've got like an hour or 2 for shop to close. I can walk through there. So, is it going to bring you closer to the goal? Yes, it's going to take you to the goal, but you need to walk. It's windy outside, there are lots of things you need to consider, okay? And after that, is it good return of investment? And can you be flexible, or you just need to follow one path, or you can change it somehow? In the actions and tools section, there are items that you need to know. There are a bunch of items here, like the weird item is the ISO, International Standard Organization Certificates, or the number that you know, ISO 4001, 9002, something like that. They are not actions. They are tools that you need to use in order to achieve your goal. So just know that you need to have some tools, and right now you've got some tools in here. I'm going to talk about the ABCD method. First of all, A is, as you can see in here, is the awareness. Okay? There are some questions that you need to answer. Right now we're going to work on the ABCD method, right? Okay? You know that we are talking about the thing, right?
Yeah.
So, A is awareness. Okay? It means that we need to know the situation, like the system that I talked about. So, you need to answer these questions. What organization are you analyzing? So just have a paper. Okay? The first page is A. The second page is B step, C step, and D step. Okay, we've got 4 pages, 4 sections for these kinds of projects. If anyone told you that write something, ABCD model for something, first of all, write 4 sections, A, B, C, D. After that, in the A, there are some questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just write these questions. What organization are you going to analyzing? This is the question. Write the answer for it. I'm going to analyze a factory, like wood factory. We're going to make beds and things like that. Imagine that this is a scenario. We're going to, it's a wood factory. Okay? What is included in the scope of your study? What is your system? What is going to be included? Everything, every kind of variable factor that's going to affect on your thing, just put it here. What is the scope of your study? We're going to we're going to make a wood factory here with I don't know, some kind of description that you want.
Mhm.
Okay, just write it here. What do they currently do? They are making, I don't know, bets, something like that. What function service do they provide? So you need to mention the function. Like, for example, if you're a bank, your functionality is completely different than if you are a security company, or if you are a grocery store, if you are a factory, if you are a refinery, if you are, I don't know, any kinds of these businesses. You are going to have a university, you are going to have the clean city, so your environment is your city, so you are city hall, you need to plan for it, so you need to mention what kind of services or function that you're going to provide. So this is another question, very simple question, right? Answer this question to any kind of organization you're going to analyze. What is the purpose of the organization? There are some reasons that they are doing something. So what is the purpose? Answer that question also. What is the vision of their role in the sustainable society? Maybe they don't have any kind of vision. They're just making bets. They don't have any vision. If there are any kind of vision through the sustainable society, just mention it here. Okay?
Sorry, all of these questions refer to...
A. This is A.
Only...
This is A. This is A. This is awareness. Answering these questions, we've got the idea of how the system works, what is the system, so this is the A section. We just talk about the A. Okay?
And always this question is
Yes.
referred.
It means that you know the system.
I see.
What kind of thing you need to know about? Like, in your scope of study, they're all workers. In your scope of study, it's also the labor, the cost of the thing. So everything is in your scope. The second question is actually everything. What is included in the scope of your study? So this is a very big question. After that, from the awareness, we come to the basement. So B, A was awareness, B was the baseline. Okay? So look at the current reality of the system, your organization that you're going to assessing, through the lens of sustainable principle. Okay? So look at your current situation of your system through the sustainable lens. Okay? Answer these questions. So there are two questions that you need to know for the B section. One, in what way does, like for example, your factory contribute to violation of the principle of sustainability? Okay? So maybe you don't have any kind of violation to principle 1, not even 2, but you've got some violation for the third principle, cutting the tree. You've got some physical problem, or you are a bank. You don't have relation with any kinds of things. All of your personnel is living on the same, I don't know, building. So they're not even use the fossil fuels for transferring from their house to their job. So there's 0 items of the principle 1. Imagine that. I don't know if that's the case. That's the scenario. I used to work in the company. It was like a very, very, very huge building, and some floors are for the office and the rest were the residence area. I've seen that company before. So maybe they don't have any problems in those cases, but you've got some violations in principle 4. Just mention it here. Second item is, in what ways does this company that you're going to analyze, or I don't know, your system, everything it is, contribute to respecting the principle of sustainability? It means that way is good. For example, you just said that, instead of just having my staff, my personnel all over the city, and getting problem with the time, maybe there are some late, something like that, I just buy a very huge place, like the resident area, and give them one apartment, so they are living here. I don't have any kinds of violations of principle 1. They don't have anything for just coming to the office. Or I just buy a bike for each of them and ask them to use it for coming to the office. So I don't have any violations of principle 1. There's no violation of principle 2. So this is good. Just mention it here. Okay? So the baseline, the B section, is answering these two questions. Is there any violations to the principles? And the second one, the respect to the principles. So you need to know the principles to answer this question. Right? Any problem?
No.
Maybe you don't have any kinds of violation to principle 1. Okay, that's fine. Just put it in a positive way. Second question. The third item is the C. Okay, C is a creative solution. So what possible actions or initiatives, investments could be made to eliminate the contribution of, I don't know, your company's violation to the principles of sustainability and achieve the vision? Okay, what kind of action you need to do? Okay, for example, I'm a bank. I don't have any problems with first and second principle, but there are lots of papers that my staff are using. So I'm kind of violating the third one, the physical means, because using too much papers and it's not a sufficient thing. It means cutting lots of trees. There are lots of the huge amount of waste and I have to pay for I don't know, the city hall for just taking care of my waste. I don't know, do something with them. So I'm going to think about having the electronic system, like electronic banking in my bank, in order to just deduct the size of the paper used, something like that. Okay. So what possible actions that you need to do? Okay, so you need to write your creative solutions here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how to get rid of that violation that we mentioned in the B step. And in here, first of all, you need to prioritize your actions. Okay, you've got a list of actions that I have to do. Like, too many items here. First of all, prioritize them. Just take 1, 2, 3. This is very, very important. It needs to be placed here. Or priorities because of the time. So I have to do it first before that's something else. So just put them on the list and prioritize them. Okay, sort them the way that they need to be there. Okay, so for the first step for D is decide on priorities. Okay, so you have first of all you need to prioritize your actions that you mentioned in the creative solution part. So after that, there are 3 items that you need to do. Does it move us to the right direction? This is the first question. You need to say yes or no. Is it, if your answer is no, it means that you need to change it somehow, right? You don't need to experience something after that, just realize that this is the wrong way, right? So this is the first time. Is it a flexible platform? If something broken, if something not working, if you've got problem with, I don't know, some parts, can you do some changes during this process? Or no, I'm sorry, you can't go. If you want to have your employee, if you want to hire someone, and if he was like having 10 children, you can't put them in the very, very small apartment. Okay, so you need to take care about them also. So you don't have the flexibility. You are restricted in these kinds of things. Why? Because you need to give them some kind of apartment to them, right? It was your scenario. Because you don't want to do any kind of violation to the first principle. You don't want them to use the public transportation for coming to work. So you want them to be easy to reach and something like that. Okay? So you need to know that whether they are flexible and is it good return of investment. For having all of your staff around you, need to buy like the 20-level building just to have them around your bank. So is it a good investment of the money? No. They can be anywhere, but you can rent a bus or something and ask the boss to take each of them like service, like the bus service things. Just pick them up at the specific time and take them to your office, and after that return them back to their own place. They don't need to use the public transportation. They don't need to use like their own cars. It's a very long way. They don't need to, I don't know, ride a bike or something. So a return of investment is a matter. Or, for example, as I said, investment is not just economically. It's not just the money. You're not talking about the financial return of investment. Like, for example, Can you send them to the college and let them be sustainable engineer just to hesitate them to use too much papers? Is it a good return? Or, for example, you know what I mean? It's not just economic items, like political items. If you have your own, it could be the social item. If you have your own banking system, electronic banking system, your customers, do they have the access to your items? No, sorry, in this country we don't have internet connection. So what was the plan? Okay, having the electronic banking and your customer don't even have the internet, so that's a bad idea. It's not a flexible thing. So these items need to be covered in the ABCD method. So in here we're going to talk about the science and why we need the science in our book. The first item that we need to know is what is the science, the definition of the science that we're going to work on. So who can give me something that you think that corrects about the science? So there's always was an argument between the guys who are going to describe the science. The thing that you're going to tell science is the natural science, or is it according to the mathematical calculations? Which one is science? Anything that you can prove it on the paper is science, or the ordering of the events that is going to occur in the nature is science. So this is an argument between the guys that some of them says that it needs to be proved by the mathematical orders, and the other says that no, this is the natural events that are going to take place, but we need to know the phenomenon, and after that, according to the rate of changing, I don't know, the connection between different elements, we can say that whether we've got some sort of algorithm or no, and after that call it like natural science. So this is if they told you to discuss about these kinds of things, you know what to write about, okay? The science is gathered and systematized knowledge about the world and ourselves. Is it correct? No. So we are going to gather some information and then systematize them, and just says that this is the science. Remember when we talked about the whole system thinking? I just tell you that we've got unlimited resources in the ground, and the ground can attract any kind of waste that we're going to make. But further on, we just realize that no, it's not 100% true. That it's not unlimited, because we're with a closed loop in the matter of in the matter field. So this is the same procedure. Science doesn't hold all eternal truth. Okay, so we're not talking about eternal truth. Okay. It's a more process, the systematic approach. So we're going to talk about the process. It's developing process, okay? It's a systematic approach to avoid as much misunderstanding and bias as possible based on observation of phenomena. Okay, so we're going to observe something and deduct from the misunderstanding. Gather them, systematize them, find the pattern between them, get the connections, and make an algorithm of how this phenomenon, the system is working, and after that, I don't know, issue some laws, maybe we prove them by mathematics, maybe not. There are some abuse of science which you need to read. I'm not going to stay here too much. But so there are some abuses also that you need to know that it's also here. There are some limitations in the science, like is it overrated? We just think because lots of people are thinking that, I'm not just going deeply inside all of them, but some people believe that we just overrated science. It's not just science, it's something else also is happening. It's not like you can't describe everything with science. So This is the limitations and the models and that we have. So the model is not 100% as the reality and the thing that are going to happen really. So this is another item. So the model is represented our best knowledge, our best understanding about some kind of events. But it's, as you know, it's not the replacement of the reality. So it's not the same thing. If you build a model of the bridge, it's not the bridge itself. It can't be functional the same as the bridge for you. But there are some factors. According to your knowledge, you can do your best of understanding about how the bridge works and then the model of something. So this is but also the limitation of the model and the human limitations. We've got lots of limitations in even our knowledge. It's not very improved yet, and it's the process that we're going to face with. So there are some limitations of our knowledge. There are limitations of the resources that we've got. So there are lots of items here. It's going to limit the science. And the thing is, you're going to find the thing that you wanted at the end. So you're not going to prove something that you don't like. So the science is always directed to the thing that you wanted to achieve. It's not always the other way. Some people are trying to find opposite form of the way of your thinking. But you as a scientist are believing something, work on something, try to direct it to the thing that you wanted. Maybe it's not correct. I'm just saying that maybe. As you can see here, sustainable development is the development that meets the need of the present. So sustainable development got two factors, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. These are two factors. Your needs need to be covered. Next generation's ability shouldn't be limited. You can't do violations to their will, so they need to have the resources also. So these are two items that you need to know about sustainable development. It's a very important notation in this course, that you need to know these two items. Okay, for decision making, sometimes we are going to use the science and the things around the science and connected to the science that we need to know, like help us to understand in the system level, help us to understand the system. So our knowledge will help us in that way. With the definition of success, it's going to help with evaluating the actions at the strategy level, designing the actions, and applying designing of the tools. So we're going to use science in these kinds of fields, right? Right or wrong?
Mm-hmm. It's unclear for me.
It's unclear for you. Why? If you don't know anything about your system, what can you do? So you need to have the knowledge. Some of these kinds of knowledge are based on your scientific things. Like what we're going to talk about. Okay, I'm just telling you that the science is and the second item is the success level, and it's based on the questions that we're going to answer to find the picture of the thing that we're going to need. So again, we're going to use the science also. Sorry, we don't have that much time. I'm just going to make some pictures here. What is the scientific law? It's a base of experimental support. So when you're talking about the scientific law, there was some kind of experimented things maybe happen in order to make them sure that it's a science. Circumstantially proved, so there are some items that it's going to be like the side effect that it's happened around it, close it, before it, after it, so you know these kind of circumstances, and after that you can find a pattern for your scenario and prove it, and you just consider it in the scientific law. Generalized and formulated experience that has not yet been proved to be wrong. Like the Newton's laws, it's right now some parts are proved to be wrong. So as long as they are not proved to be wrong, we can generalize and formulate these kinds of experiments and tell them scientific law. Okay?
Mhm.
So we've got found some patterns. We just formalize them, generalize them, systematically approach to it, find the connection between these kinds of things. And as long as we don't have any proof that they are wrong, so we consider them as the right things, like the scientific laws. Okay? Like the law of gravity, we know that we've got a gravity in our system. Why? There are some physics formula about the law, and based on the experiments, based on the truth about science, the thing that they call it science, and based on every facts that we have now, we can tell that there is a law of gravity, that you've got some kind of connection between the mass, your distance between you and the other object, and like the force or the power that's going to be involved in the system. So with these kinds of items, you can find the law. And we just consider it. And after that, so there are some laws, and there are some principles. I think this is the last thing that I'm going to tell you very, very fast. A principle is a condition for something. Okay? So we're talking about condition of something. It belongs to the item. So we're talking about the thing that's happening around the object that we're going to study. It can be violated. Like, for example, we've got a gravity here. But, for example, so if I fold something, it's just come down because of the gravity law. But if I just try to violate the law, just back it up. So there are items that are going to be happen. There are some consequences, but after that, it's the same law. So, like anything else, you can break some. For the laws, you can't do anything because they're laws. But for the principles, you can't violate. You can violate them, but there are some consequences. There are some side effects that you need to consider in the law. Okay, this is the second item. And they are demanding. I'm not going to stay here. We are very. This is the last item. Just want to show you what is the principle, like the animal cell, like our cell in our body. A principle for animal cell life is that respiration must occur for an animal cell to survive.
What's the meaning of respiration?
Breathing, but in cell. Okay, so they need to get some food. There are some items for the respiration of some cells. So we call them live when they've got these kinds of respiration. This is the principle that we know for the cells, right? So let me just say that. And also you formulate them. Like, for example, here you've got C6H12O6 plus 6O2. It's going to be like the chemical procedure here to doing that thing, and it's going to make the energy at least. So we found the pattern. We know the system that we're going to analyze. We found the pattern and the connections, and after that we've got a principle. They need to, for the respiration, respiration must occur. It means that they need to breathe somehow in their own way to survive, to be live. Okay. So this is the example of the principle. We're going to talk more about the scientific laws and what is true about the scientific laws and the laws that we're going to have, like the thermodynamics laws we're going to cover also, and after that we're going to talk about the complex system, the positive and negative feedback. What is the positive And what is the negative feedback? What is the difference? It's the same difference as backcasting and forecasting. So that's simple. You don't need to be worried about that kind of thing. So I think that's enough for today.